Hello, my name is Chris Johnson. I am working on my organizational chart for One Off Outlet. We're a small company, so right now, myself and my co founder and one other person is essentially doing all the functions that you see here on the organizational chart. Now, as we grow, we can grow in many different directions, and conceptualizing the development of each uh, key personnel and their roles is a little bit difficult because the e-commerce adventure for the both of us is something very new. And in looking at many different structures, this is kind of what I've come up with as a base guideline of where we're going to be at as we're moving forward. Now, it is pretty traditional setup, and that's just because I need to have a lean operation to where we can make the correct moves, and if things get tight, we're very flexible and we're not stuck in a bureaucracy setup. Okay, so with that being said, my name is Christopher Johnson. I'm a co-founder. I have a partner named Eli Abrams. Our roles are pretty much as guiding the ship the way that we see it, and putting key personnel in the correct place. He always wanted a personal assistant, so I put that in there as well. That role would just be accommodating anything that's overwhelming for him. Moving on. So we'll get into as we move ourselves out of operations and everything else. We'll hire a CEO. Their daily function will be planning the future of the business, keeping their thumb on the pulse of the business, and just overseeing the operation through our vision on a daily manner, and consulting with us as necessary. Now, obviously, that's a key role. There'll be a lot of responsibility with that role in the temperature of the business and the direction it needs to go, and seeing out our intentions. So the value there is very clear. He will be an integral part, have ownership stock, and probably the highest paid within all the organization. Next, we will have a partner, in essence, is the operation. So we'll have somebody in this role that will be able to efficiently and effectively run our physical operations of warehousing and shipping in and out and receiving. And they will be keen to know where we can save money and the right kinds of personnel we need to put in place and build out a structure for us to have that physical capacity that's necessary to run an e-commerce operation. And then we'll have somebody to handle the money, right? We'll have somebody guiding the money ship, the CFO. So if we need to borrow money, if we need to lend money, if we need to have whatever it is that we're doing, we have somebody guiding the financial ship that understands everything from taxes to accounts receivable and payable to payroll to understanding how it all works and makes it better for our system. So these three key roles, CEO, COO, and CFO, will be our highest paid employees because their responsibility, all without one of them, will sink the ship. So they all have to run at a high functioning, cross operational level, um, with the ability to conceptualize and think of what the future will be. So each one of them will have their distinctive roles in responsibilities of guiding the ship. The CEO is, again, the daily planning and future planning and maintenance of the operation. The operation CEO, Chief Operating Officer, will handle the physical operations, the daily ins and outs of physical products that are being sold. And the CFO will handle the ins and outs of money. So as we move forward with that, the CEO will have a VP of planning and a VP analysis. Now, I think that both of these roles here are very intertwinable and very crucial for a CEO. The CEO's got to have all the correct information. So as they build out a plan, you got to have somebody that oversees the plan. And then you have to have somebody that oversees and analyzes the efficiency and effectiveness of each plan. And then the CEO can evaluate and make decisions based on that. And they will branch out their e-commerce development managers, the forecasting managers, giving and receiving information on that will help them do their planning and analysis and ultimately help the CEO make decisions. And they'll have their internal HR, so they can hire tech support, anything and everything that will help them understand and see the future and make the best decision possible. Chief Operations Officer. His structure is going to be, he's going to have operations manager that oversees the plans, oversees the physical being of the warehousing, and makes determinations on analysis of what they should and shouldn't be doing moving to the future, along with the analysis manager who also sees the efficiency and effectiveness of the operation and where they can become leaner and stronger and save money. And they'll have their their group of individuals that will help them complete their job as well, by having different warehousing managers, different locations, and different shipping managers. And all this is just a vertical feedback of information of where the CEO can make the correct calls based on the future planning of the business with other key personnel. So all these are interchangeable. Their value goes down as they get lower on the pole, but their value rises as they take on more responsibility and maybe fill the role above them. So in essence, it's probably a 30-20 split, maybe a 50-70 as you get higher. So it'll be interesting to see how that develops in the future, because if this builds out to having a 25-person key personnel function, we're in the multi-million-dollar range, and taking care of the employees will be able to make sure everything runs smoothly. With that being said, about the money, you have CFO, Chief Financial Officer here. They will make sure that we're doing everything by the books with the taxman and payroll and audit managers. So we'll be doing internal audits and so on and so forth. So we are very compliant with state, federal regulations and rules. Accounts receivable, we'll have a branch that pays all of our bills as necessary as they see fit. Also receives all payments on products and goods that are sold, and make sure we're maximizing all of the avenues to save on those transactions, and so on and so forth. They'll have a clerk, assistant clerk, and so on and so forth. That's a pretty basic structure of accounting firm. On the tax payroll side, you'll have individual specialists, tax accountant, payroll specialist, staff accountant, so on and so forth, which is pretty standard structure just to make sure that all the finances are handled correctly and they're going in the right direction. And then you have some oversight, and then you have decision makers on which is the best way to do what we're going to do. So this is the organizational structure that I've set based on what, just the idea of moving forward and building out what it can be. Now, there's many, many more personnel and key personnel that develop with the growth of the business and the direction it goes. If we're 90% e-commerce with zero retail, brick and mortar retail, then obviously our money and everything will be going, our personnel development will be going towards IT development, web-based development, and other tech development rather than, physical brick and mortar store operations of key holders and managers and so on and so forth. But if we find that we're more successful with the retail operation arm, especially locally, obviously we'll branch out, we'll do very standard assistant manager, and so on and so forth. So this is the concept. From the top down, responsibilities equal what they'll be worth in value to the company and what they'll get paid. And each role is a critical role, and that's the structure. Is the higher you are in the hierarchy, the more critical you are to the organization, and the more money you should be able to get in return for the organization to validate your worth as an employee or partner in the company. Thank you. Have a nice day.